We're live from Joliet and underway as the University of St. Francis takes on Calumet College of St. Joseph in CCAC volleyball action tonight. Calumet has an early 2-1 lead on the Fighting Saints, and hopefully we are broadcasting live for good here. Apologies for the early technical difficulties as the Saints again trail 2-1, looking to return a serve here from Calumet College, unable to get it across, and the Crimson Wave take a 3-1 lead. Calumet serving, it's Haley Weiser, their junior setter, doing the honors, and she sends it straight into the net here. That makes the score 3-2 as the Saints get the benefit of a serving error from the visiting Crimson Wave. St. Francis now gets to serve for the second time today, and Alexis Angst does the honors in this particular case. 3-2 they trail. We're in the first set in this best-of-5 match. Across to the back line, Calumet looking to return. It's poked over by Jasmine Zavala. Saints get a chance to set it up for Taylor Valent, but returned on the other side by the libero Caitlin Allwine. There's a block into the net and a point for the Saints. Today, Phillips picks up the kill right there for the Fighting Saints, who tie it up 3-3. St. Francis did briefly lead at one point, 1-0. So they are trying to capture their second lead of the game as Alexis Enck passes off to Brooklyn Withy, and Taylor Valent gets it over. There's the return from Calumet, and Gabrielle Paelmo plays it for the Fighting Saints. Pushed across by Phillips. There's Weiser putting it across. Free ball for the Fighting Saints. Brooklyn Withy looking for the kill, but the Crimson Wave are able to return it. Nice defense there by Calumet. Pushed across to the back line and down for Brooklyn Withy. It's 4-3. St. Francis takes the lead after a good volley right there. The Fighting Saints have now scored 3 consecutive points, 2 of them with Alexis Angst doing the serving. And Angst sends it away again. The return nearly into the net, but Weiser keeps it alive. Here's Valent again, a powerful kill shot this time from Taylor Valent. And the Fighting Saints have scored 4 consecutive points. They lead it 5-3. Nice work by the Fighting Saints after falling immediately behind 3-1, bouncing back very quickly. There's Valent playing defense. Gabrielle Paelmo keeps it alive. Angst tries to get it over, and does. She drops it in. A little miscommunication there from the Crimson Wave defense. And Alexis Angst, a desperation shot just to get it over the net, ends up dropping it in and picking up the point. So Angst, who's been on the serve here, ends up with a point on a defensive hit. And the Saints now doubling up the Crimson Wave early in this first set. There's a block of the net by Tanae Phillips, kept alive by the Crimson Wave. Brooklyn Withy pushes it to the back line and into the corner. That sneaks in bounds. It's 7-3 St. Francis, and that's enough for Kelly Greer, who wants a timeout. Kelly Greer, the third-year head coach of Calumet College of St. Joseph, stops to talk things over as she tries to slow down the momentum of the University of St. Francis, who has now scored 6 consecutive points. Of course, both of these teams have already substituted a few players in and out through the first 10 points of today's game, but as we had some technical problems early on in the broadcast here, let's take a look at the starting lineups for today's game. For Calumet College of St. Joseph, it's Alyssa Morales, Jade Green, Breon Green, Sincere Northern, Haley Weiser, and Jasmine Zavala. Caitlin Allwine is the libero. For St. Francis, Darian Baldwin, McKenna Bartecki, Taylor Valent, Brooklyn Withy, Joanna Nowicki, and Jade Livesay-Groark are the starters, along with libero Gabrielle Paelmo. Katie Zakis, who has been the starting libero for St. Francis throughout every set so far this year, coming in, is not playing today. Injured her knee on Friday in the most recent match for St. Francis, so Katie Zakis is out. Fighting Saints trying to make do without one of their sophomore stars. They lead by 4 in the first set today. Coming out of the timeout, Angst serve. Calumet just trying to get it over. They do. Free ball for St. Francis. Angst sets it up to Brooklyn Withy and into the net. Point to Calumet. A well-used timeout by Kelly Greer right there as the Crimson Wave had been reeling. They'd given up 6 consecutive points, and coming out of the timeout, an attacking error committed by St. Francis gets Calumet back on the board. Bethany Brewser checks into the game. Junior from Griffith, Indiana, gets the serve for Calumet and sends it to the back line in the middle. Gabrielle Palmo. There's Brooklyn Withy coming up with a kill. Didn't take long. The St. Francis getting back on the board, trying to redevelop that momentum they had prior to the timeout. Brooklyn Withy picks up the kill. She's at the front line right now, along with Joanna Nowicki and Tanae Phillips, a couple of seniors with the sophomore Withy. That ball is poked over the net by Sincere Northern. Nowicki looking to respond, and Nowicki sneaks it inside the line along the far side. A point for Joanna Nowicki and for the Fighting Saints, and their lead is 9-4. They're on an 8-1 run here in the first set. Gabrielle Palmo, freshman from Schaumburg, Illinois, set to serve again, and she's got an ace. A couple of Crimson Wave players on that back line just kind of looked at each other. Caitlin Allwine would have been in position to make the play, but thought it was going to go out. She let it go, and it did just sneak in front of the line for Palmo. That's the 9th serving ace of the season. Out of bounds, knocked out of bounds by Calumet. Ariane Payman, the one who knocked that ball out, playing off the front line in the center. It's 11-4 St. Francis. Another serve for Palmo. And it's another ace. That's her second during this set. St. Francis leads Calumet 12-4. They are on quite a run here after trailing 3-1 to start off the game. Popped high up into the air. Set up for Sullivan, who pushes it across. McKenna Bartecki on the receiving end. Nowicki blocked, but straight down into the net for Calumet, and a point to St. Francis. Joanna Nowicki will get credit for another point for the Fighting Saints, as she's the one who pushed that ball over. No return possible for the Crimson Wave. Sincere Northern gets it across. It was going to land inbounds. Palmo plays it. Joanna Nowicki, another kill. Nowicki is cleaning up in her right side hitter position. Or left side, rather. Senior outside hitter entered play today with a 112 attacking percentage. Second on the team with 150 kills. She's picked up a few of them here in the first game today. Into the net for Calumet, and another point for St. Francis. 15-4. It's a 14-1 run, and another timeout is called by Calumet. Saints went on a 6-0 run earlier in this set, and Kelly Greer called a timeout, brought her team over to talk it over. They were able to bounce back, and they picked up a point on the very next play coming out of the timeout. And now all of a sudden St. Francis on an 8-0 run following that 1 point secured by Calumet. So as a result, another timeout called by Calumet College of St. Joseph as they try to salvage something from this first game here. Still a ways to go. The Saints are 10 points away from a win. So the Crimson Wave still trying to make a game of this one, but at very least they'd like to get a little roll and capture some momentum back before heading into the second set. Coming out of the timeout, it's Gabrielle Palmo set to serve once again. An 11-point lead for the Fighting Saints. Palmo from the left side pushes it to the back, and Caitlin Allwine. There's Sincere Northern getting it across for Calumet. Saints are able to return it. Nowicki played once again. Sullivan blocked at the net. Sullivan again. Out of bounds. Point St. Francis. And this time the timeout does not pay immediate dividends for the Crimson Wave. St. Francis serve again. Palmo on quite a run here. She's had 2 aces during what has so far been an 8-point run, and the run comes to an end right here. as Alex Sullivan picks up a strong kill for Calumet. Sullivan, a senior from Munster, Indiana. Nice shot right there, sneaking it inside the near sideline. And that does snap a 9-0 St. Francis run. Here's Sincere Northern on the serve. Tapped over by Brooklyn Withy. Sullivan pokes it back across, and here is McKenna Bartecki off the top of the net, and a diving save on the other end by Haley Weiser. Here's Alexis Inks setting up Tanae Phillips. Gets the line. The point is actually going to go to Calumet here. Maybe they called that one did go out. The initial signal from the lines judge was that it had hit that line, but apparently just barely out. Brooklyn Withy this time does knock it off the line. 17-6 St. Francis. Nice kill shot there from Withy, and that one was close. But it did just barely nick that white line along the side, and it's an 11-point lead for the Fighting Saints. Trying to pick up a first set victory here and looking for their first match win in nearly 3 weeks. A service error on Withy this time as she sends it into the net. It's a forgivable mistake for St. Francis considering how well this game has gone so far for Withy. That was the 21st service error of the season. Angst sets it up, and it's poked down by Stephanie Woods. Stephanie Woods just into the game for the first time, picks up a quick kill. Woods is coming off of a match on Friday in which she had a career-high 10 kills for the Fighting Saints, just a freshman. So that career high comes in only 18 career matches, but getting better as this season goes on. She picks up her first kill here. Sullivan out of bounds off the deflection from St. Francis, and Alex Sullivan will get credit for the kill for Calumet. It's an 18-8 game as Sullivan goes back to serve. Sullivan, the team's leader with 60 kills this year, gets her serve away. There's a set from Darian Baldwin. Joanna Nowicki is blocked. And a point to the Crimson Wave once again. I think that was Haley Weiser who ended up with the block, but Breon Green was right up there at the net with her as well. Sullivan looking for the ace, and she's got it. Alex Sullivan on a nice run right here as that one hit off the side of the arm of Gabrielle Paelmo. Calumet has cut the deficit to 8 points. It's 18-10 as Sullivan serves again. 3 straight points for Sullivan. Here's Jade Livesey-Grort getting it over, returned by Calumet. And Sullivan flies high to get it to the back line. Set from Baldwin to Stephanie Woods. Woods can't keep it in bounds. An attacking error on Stephanie Woods as she tried to hug the sideline there. Hit it a little bit too hard. 18-11 our score. Calumet on a run late in this game. There's Withy, played on the back line by Alyssa Morales. Nice save by Joanna Nowicki. Stephanie Woods, blocked by Caitlin Allwine. Frenetic pace to this rally here. It's Joanna Nowicki looking to finish it off, and Nowicki does pick up another one. Morales tried to play it. Couldn't get a clean hit on that ball and deflected it off the back wall. The point for Joanna Nowicki, and the Fighting Saints has them back up by 8. Nowicki back to serve. Into the net and straight down. A service error for Joanna Nowicki. Calumet gets the point for Nowicki. That one hit just a wee bit too low. Another inch higher, I think that would have skirted over the top. Didn't quite have enough on it though. There's Baldwin setting up Taylor Valent, looking for the corner. Allwine returns it, and Caitlin Allwine gets it across. Baldwin to Woods. Stephanie Woods trying to get it down. She does. Deflected by Allwine, but didn't have a clean hit. A point for Stephanie Woods and a point for the Fighting Saints, who are now just 5 away from taking a 1-0 lead in this best-of-5 match. Woods gets the kill and checks out. McKenna Bartecki into serve. To the back line. Allwine saves it. Can Green get it over? She cannot. Jade Green had the initial hit. Deflected it towards the sideline. Allwine played it next. Back to Green. Green couldn't quite force it over the net. So a point to St. Francis. Bartecki serves again. Scrapes the top of the net. Kept alive by Caitlin Allwine. Livesey Grork gets the kill. Knocks Allwine down in the process. Powerful kill shot there from Jade Livesey Grork. 22-12. McKenna Bartecki goes up high for the serve. Sincere Northern gets it over. Baldwin to Withy. Brooklyn Withy picks up another kill. And the Saints have gotten their momentum back. They've scored 5 of the last 6 points after Calumet started to fight back. Looked like maybe they were going to make a game of it. But now St. Francis just 2 points away from coming away with the first set win. Bartecki sends away another serve. This is Sincere Northern getting it across to Bartecki. Baldwin sets up Valent. Taylor Valent flies up for another kill. Game point for St. Francis. Bartecki trying to finish this off with just one more serve. Here's Northern, tipped at the net, played by Baldwin. Here's Bartecki to Valent. Valent forces it to the back line. Northern again, pushes it down. Nice kill, Sincere Northern. Pretty shot right there. 24-13. Calumet still in the game, but they need 11 consecutive points off the serve here to stay alive. Haley Weiser goes back to get this serve off. Valent to Baldwin. Here's Livesey Grork. Played on the other end. Right back to Valent. And another good play by Haley Weiser. Kept it alive. Jade Green passes it over. Baldwin sets up Withy. Inbounds. Brooklyn Withy gets the kill, and the Saints have a first set victory. 25-13 our score in the first of potentially as many as 5 sets. And I'll step aside for just a moment. Back with the second game of this match in just a moment. 25-13. Saints take the opener. Getting set to start the second set here at St. Francis. Fighting Saints against Calumet College of St. Joseph. Terry Bonadonna with you on the call for today's match. St. Francis trying to snap a 7-match losing streak and off to a good start with the first set victory today. They outscored Calumet 25-13 in that first set. 6 kills for Brooklyn Withy, 5 for Joanna Nowicki. No surprise that those two led the way. They are the two leading attackers for St. Francis this year, but both of them averaging just a little bit better than 2 kills per set, and they each had at least 5 in that first game today. 9 assists for Alexis Engst, 5 for Darian Baldwin. And with Katie Zakis out, the defensive void has been filled by Gabrielle Paelmo and McKenna Bartecki, who have 7 and 6 digs, respectively. During play today, Zakis more than doubled up any of her teammates with 384 digs on the year. Jade Livesey-Gork tipped at the net but out of bounds. That's a point to St. Francis as we are underway in the second set. Fighting Saints take a quick 1-0 lead. Jade Livesey-Gork picks up the kill, and for her, that is number 2 in the match. St. Francis had 18 kills in that first set. Calumet had only 3. They ended up scoring 13 points, but 10 of them on errors by the St. Francis side. There's a tip at the net, but the Saints are not able to return the hit from Ariane Payman, and it ties it up 1-1. So far, game 2 has followed the same path as the first one did. Fighting Saints score first, and then Calumet immediately responds. Calumet actually took a 3-1 lead in the first set, and it looked like they were at least going to make a game of it, if not win outright, but St. Francis went on a pretty good run after that, 14-1. There's Taylor Valent, blocked by Payman. 2-1. Again, Calumet has the early lead. That's the third block of the match so far for Calumet. St. Francis doesn't have any. So that's one area in which the Crimson Wave have outperformed the Fighting Saints so far. Brooklyn Withy picks up another kill. That's number 7 of the match for her. We're tied at 2. Blocking has not been the Saints' strong suit this year to begin with. They had just 103 of them coming in, compared to 159 for their opponents. Paelmo sends the serve away. There's Payman, blocked by Withy, kept alive but out of bounds. Another point for St. Francis. Fighting Saints are on top now, 3-2. Paelmo was the server for much of their run of success in the first set when they went on that decisive 14-1 spurt. Alexis Engst sets up Joanna Nowicki, and Nowicki sneaks it in there. Another kill for the senior. Three straight points for the Fighting Saints, so they're on a roll here, just as they were at a similar juncture in the first set. Paelmo grazes the top of the net. Ball kept alive. I think a double hit right there on Calumet. 4 straight points for the Fighting Saints. They lead by 3. Taking advantage of a receiving error right there against Calumet. There's Alex Sullivan setting up Haley Weiser, who pushes it across. Engst for Beard, knocked down, and a point for Fighting Saints. Corey Beard, sophomore transfer from St. Ambrose, picks up her first point. Beard has not gotten out there all that often early on this year. Good to see her effective in her first appearance today, as McKenna Bartecki is unable to respond to that shot from Alex Sullivan. And that snaps the 5-0 St. Francis run. Calumet back on the board, trailing by 3. Sincere Northern goes back to serve. Bartecki to Engst to Nowicki. She plays it softly this time. Sullivan returns it, blocked at the net. Still alive. Nowicki, Engst, Withy, down for the point. Brooklyn Withy strikes again for St. Francis. And back to the substitutes for Kara Courier as Withy checks out. Maggie Klebanow comes in. Her first action of the game. She's got one ace this season as she checks in to serve. Maggie Klebanow from the left side of the court. Leaps and sends that ball flying. Payment across, blocked back the other way. But pushed down by Green. That's Breon Green. A point for Calumet. 7-4 is our score. St. Francis still in the driver's seat here in this second set. Long way to go in this one. Out of bounds on the serve. Alyssa Morales a little bit too strong on her opening shot. Fighting Saints once again are doubling up the Crimson Wave. It's 8-4. Here's Darian Baldwin in to serve. Sullivan. Green into the net. Jade Livesey-Gork, Stephanie Woods were both there looking for the block for St. Francis. Neither one of them was needed as that shot came in a little bit too low and off the net. Here's Baldwin. Weiser sets up Sullivan, who gets it across. Baldwin to Nowicki. Nowicki blocked, out of bounds. Another point for Joanna Nowicki and the Fighting Saints. 10-4. Baldwin looking for the ace, but robbed by Allwine, who made a nice diving dig. Baldwin, Livesey-Gork. Did it get the line? It did not. And the initial signal from the line judge was that it had clipped that line, but the head official said he got a good look at it and it was a little bit too strong. (10-5). St. Francis has the lead. Calumet has the serve. Baldwin, Livesey-Gork, and a kill for Jade Livesey-Gork. St. Francis gets the serve back. It's Joanna Nowicki with her side leading by 6. Weiser sets up Green, kept alive on the other end, but the Saints run into each other a little bit. Kendra Bullard and Joanna Nowicki both going after that ball, and they come up a little bit short. Calumet gets the point, 11-6 our score. There's Paelmo playing it on the back line. Baldwin sets up Bullard. Kendra Bullard's shot is returned. Back over to the back line and Paelmo. At the net, it's Bullard. Blocked, down inbounds. A point to Calumet. Sincere Northern up on the block. Haley Weiser was in there as well, but I think it was Northern who got her hands on it. 7-11 here, Calumet on the serve. Stephanie Woods gets it down. Tipped at the net, but not enough to force it back the other way. St. Francis 12, Calumet 7. McKenna Bartecki, the sophomore, in to serve. Played on the back line by Morales. Northern gets it over, punched back to the other side by Withy. There's a block, out of bounds. Calumet gets the point. St. Francis had it blocked at the net, but couldn't keep it in. So Calumet hanging around here. Like in the first game, St. Francis was able to take a healthy early lead. Unlike the first game, they've not been able to pull away, and Calumet tightens it up even further with an ace. and makes the score 12-9. Haley Weiser back to serve once again here. Ivesay Grork gets it over, played by Weiser. There's Bartecki for the Fighting Saints, and Bullard across to the back. Weiser out of bounds. Not where she wanted to go with that ball. Saints get the point on the attacking error. (13-9), St. Francis halfway to a second set victory. So Alexis Engst gets the serve, and she gets the ace. Off the hands of Jade Green. Point to Engst and to the Saints for Alexis Engst. That's the 10th ace of the season. Looking for another one right here. She's got it, back to back. Caitlin Allwine made a diving effort for that ball. Couldn't play it cleanly. 15-9, St. Francis. Engst looking for 3 in a row. They are able to play it this time. Payman gets it across. Bullard to the back line and out of bounds, deflected by Calumet. Point to Kendra Bullard and the Fighting Saints, and now St. Francis is starting to pull away. Calumet had kept it close. They were within 3 points, but now 4 unanswered for the University of St. Francis. Our score is 16-9. Alexis Engst still on the serve as Alex Sullivan checks in for Jade Green for Calumet. And there's Sullivan getting the initial touch to Allwine and pushed across. There's Bullard blocked into the net and out of bounds. Point to St. Francis, 17-9. Engst started this run off with 2 straight aces, and this time a little help on an attacking error from Jasmine Zavala. St. Francis back on the board with their 6th consecutive point. Engst trying to make it 7 in a row. It is played by Sullivan. Blocked at the net by St. Francis. Bartecki keeps it alive. There's Corey Beard, played on the back line by Sullivan. Flying up to push that ball over is Zavala, but room for St. Francis to return it. Brooklyn Withy pushes it across. And there's a point for Calumet. Ariane Payman was able to knock that ball over and make it an 18-10 score. This was the same score through 28 points in the first set. Got here in a little bit of a different manner. Bethany Brewser is in to serve. Engst sets it to Bullard, and Kendra Bullard knocks it down inside the line. Kendra Bullard playing well in the second half of this second set. She checks out following the kill, and Joanna Nowicki comes back in. Gabrielle Paelmo back to serve. There's Weiser. Sincere Northern blocked at the net. Still alive for Calumet. Sullivan gets it over. Brooklyn Withy skies high and knocks it down. Brooklyn Withy picks up a kill. Saints are doubling up the Crimson Wave, 20-10. Weiser sets to Sullivan. Paelmo on the other end. Nowicki blocked. Good block at the net by the 6'2" tall junior, Ariane Payman. Calumet hanging around, picking up their 11th point. Sincere Northern back to serve. Nowicki blocked, still up, and Corey Beard pushes it over. Nice work by Nowicki and Brooklyn Withy to keep that ball alive. It's still alive. Alexis Engst to Brooklyn Withy, and Withy gets the kill. That point started with a great defensive play by St. Francis, and it ends with a powerful Brooklyn Withy shot that makes it 21-11. St. Francis just 4 points away from a second set victory, and Maggie Klebenow comes back into serve once again. Tipped at the net and down for Calumet. Crimson Wave get that point. Not going away just yet. They'll get the serve here. It's Alyssa Morales, senior from Tucson, Arizona. Sends it away with the right hand. Engst taps it across, or does she? Went into the net. Miss hit by Alexis Engst gives the point to Calumet. 21-13 our score. There's a pass from Stephanie Woods to Joanna Nowicki, and a nice return from Allwine. Pushed across by Calumet. Nice attack right there as they score their 14th point. So they've out-totaled their points from the first set with their 14th here in the second. Stephanie Woods skies for the kill. Putting the Saints back on the board after the last 3 points had all gone to Calumet. And now Darian Baldwin will try to get on a run with the serve here and put an end to this second set. That one hits out of bounds. Calumet unable to return the serve. 23-14 for another Baldwin serve. Played on the back line by Allwine. And into the net, St. Francis back on the board and setting up. Set point here, 24-14. They can win it with this one. Baldwin plays it softly. Allwine hits it up into the air and pushed across by Calumet. There's a set from Baldwin for Nowicki, and Joanna Nowicki gets the kill. Saints win. 25-14 our final score here in the second set. And St. Francis has taken a commanding 2-0 lead. They are 25 points away from ending their 7-match losing streak and improving to 3-2 in conference play this year. Take a quick break here. Back with the third set in just a few moments. After 2 sets, a big lead for the University of St. Francis. They defeated Calumet College of St. Joseph 25-13 and then 25-14. They'll try to make it a straight set victory here in the 3rd set right here. Looking at some stats from the first 2, which are now completed. Brooklyn Withy, Joanna Nowicki continue to have strong days. 10 kills for Withy, 8 for Nowicki. Stephanie Woods on the board with 5 of them. Saints as a team have a .358 attacking percentage so far. That includes .444 in the second game. 16 kills, only 4 errors. 19 assists so far for Alexis Inks to lead the way. Darian Baldwin's got 10. McKenna Bartecki has 12 digs, 10 for Gabrielle Paelmo. 1 block only for the Saints today. It belongs to the sophomore Brooklyn Withy. Calumet has got 5 blocks, including 2 for Sincere Northern. Alex Sullivan leads their team with 4 kills. Haley Weiser has 8 assists and 6 digs. St. Francis gets the first serve here in the 3rd set. They're off to the right side. McKenna Bartecki sends it away, and we're off and running here in the 3rd game. That ball is killed by Sincere Northern. And Northern picks up the first point of the game. First time that Calumet has struck first today. Northern's now got 2 kills in the game. Service sent off by Weiser. Here's Jade Livesey-Grork. Played on the other end by Allwine. Pushed across by Calumet. Brooklyn Withy keeps it alive. Kendra Bullard pushes it across. Here's Payman, played by Darian Baldwin. Bullard to the back line, playable for Sullivan. Good volley here, the best that we've seen in a while. Bartecki sets up Livesey-Grork, and Livesey-Grork has the kill. Tipped at the net. Nothing Calumet could do about it. We're tied at 1. St. Francis has trailed 3 times in today's match. It was early in all 3 games. They were down by as many as 2 points in the first game, 3-1. Game 2, they were down at one point 2-1. That was the only time. And here in the 3rd set, they trailed 1-0, but they have tied it up. And now trying to come back very quickly to take an early lead and perhaps run away the way they did in the last 2. Alexis Engst gets the serve. Caitlin Allwine pushes it across. There's Engst. Little off balance. Brooklyn Withy taps it over. There's Allwine, knocked out of the net by Withy. Brooklyn Withy's got her 2nd block of the game, or of the match, I should say. And the Saints do indeed score back-to-back points to capture the lead at 2-1. See if they can keep it here. Not in the short term. Sincere Northern picks up her 2nd kill of this 3rd set. Impressive run for her as Northern ties the score 2-2. Bethany Brewser comes in to serve. To the back line, Gabrielle Palmo, pushed over by Brooklyn Withy. There's Weiser setting up Sullivan, and Sullivan winds up and sends it straight into the net. A miss hit by Alex Sullivan gives St. Francis a point, 3-2. 5th attacking error of the match for Calumet St. Joseph. Weiser sets for Sullivan. Good dig by McKenna Bartecki, but Alexis Engst can't get there. We're tied at 3. These 2 teams are exchanging points here in the 3rd set. They've been tied at 1, 2, and now 3. Fighting Saints 5-13 on the year. They've lost 7 in a row, but they are 2-2 in conference. They're trying to move back over 500 in CCAC play with a win today. Serve is away from Rebecca Larios. Corey Beard returns it. There's Joanna Nowicki deflected. Back to Alexis Engst. Corey Beard taps it over, but it's played. Weiser to Sullivan. Sullivan to the back line, and McKenna Bartecki. Nowicki dinks it across. Played on the front line by Alex Sullivan. There's Larios pushing it over. Engst to Withy, and Brooklyn Withy comes up with a big kill. Saints by a point once again. Calumet is 2-9 overall. They are 0-3 in CCAC play. So they're still looking for their first conference victory, but worth noting that they did win more recently than St. Francis did. In fact, a couple of times more recently than St. Francis did. They won their most recent match. Win over Grace Christian. Serve is sent away by Maggie Klebanow, and Klebanow gets the ace. 5-3 for St. Francis. It's the first multi-point lead of the match. In fact, for either team, or of the set, I should say. Certainly not of the match. And another ace for Klebanow. And now it's 6-3. Klebanow came in with just one ace all season. She's got 2 in a row here. Angling for 3, and she's got it. 3 in a row. Quite a run here for Maggie Klebanow. 7-3 our score. She'll serve it again. This time they return it, but out of bounds. Eight to 3, St. Francis. Here's Allwine pushing it across to Alexis Angst. Corey Beard to the back line. Allwine to Sullivan. Sullivan gets it across and deflected by Gabrielle Paelmo. Joanna Nowicki looking for the kill, but returned. Back and forth between Payman and Woods there. There's Joanna Nowicki to Angst. Setting up Corey Beard. Beard taps it over the front line. Nice play by Allwine. Alexis Angst to Joanna Nowicki. Allwine again returns it. Nowicki to Angst to Woods. And another defensive play by Calumet. Again, they get it across. Stephanie Woods finally finishes it off. Great back and forth right there, but Stephanie Woods ends that rally with an exclamation point. A big kill for the freshman, and it's 9-3, St. Francis. And another big ace for the Fighting Saints. Our score is 10-3, and there's a timeout called by Kelly Greer from the Calumet sideline. We were tied at 3. Since then, St. Francis has scored 7 consecutive points. This is the way all of the games have gone to some extent. St. Francis has gone on a run at some point and distanced themselves. They won 25-13 in the first set, 25-14 in the second set. And in both of those games, they trailed early. Granted, early may have been 1-0 at one point, or 2-1, 3-1. They've never trailed later than 3-2. But regardless of when and how they've trailed, they've come back with a big run in all 3 games. At one point in the first game, it was 15-4 after they had trailed 3-1. Back on her way out of the timeout. Klebanow's run of serves continues, and Joanna Nowicki pushes it across on the defensive for St. Francis. Here's Alex Sullivan, tipped at the net, played on the back line by Klebanow. There's Nowicki, off the hands of Sullivan. Sullivan passes it over. Klebanow passes to Angst, who sets up Stephanie Woods, and Woods has another kill. 11-3, St. Francis is on an 8-0 run. Their momentum not slowed by the timeout this time around. And another big serve from Maggie Klebanow. Calumet unable to return it. They're having all kinds of trouble returning serves right now. 12-3 is the score. Brewser to Weiser, and Ariane Payman knocks it down. That snaps the 9-0 run for the Fighting Saints. Still a big lead for St. Francis as Calumet finally gets a chance to serve again here. Alyssa Morales will do the honors. Thanks to Stephanie Woods, and Woods is cleaning up right now. She had 5 kills in the first 2 sets. She's got at least 3 here in the third. Coming off of a career-high 10 kills in a 3-set loss at non-conference Indiana Northwest this past Friday. Fighting Saints lost in straight sets in each of their last 2 matches, so sure it felt good to get that monkey off their back and get the first one today. Now they're trying to take 3 in a row. Darian Baldwin sets for Jade Livesey-Gork. Played by Haley Weiser, but out of bounds. St. Francis gets the point. It's 14-4. 11 points away from a win. Here's Darian Baldwin to serve. Sullivan blocked by Joanna Nowicki, but out of bounds. Point to the Crimson Wave. Jasmine Zavala is back in at the front line as Alex Sullivan goes back to serve from the right side. Played by Maggie Klebano. Joanna Nowicki gets the kill. Nowicki had 150 kills on the season coming in. I believe she's into double digits now for this one. Sullivan to the back line, played by Nowicki, but into the net. Miss hit by Joanna Nowicki. 15-6 is our score. Jade Livesey-Gork to Kendra Bullard. Bullard somehow keeps it in. Hugs the line as she gets it across. Played back the other way. Now here's Jade Livesey-Gork tapping it over the net. Back to Gabrielle Paelmo. There's Bullard, too strong and out of bounds. (15-7) our score. Still a big lead for St. Francis, but Calumet has scored the last 2 points, trying to make it 3 in a row right here from Caitlin Allwine, junior libero. From Kendra Bullard, tapped back down by Sincere Northern. Northern's had a nice third set here, keeping Calumet alive in this one, 15-8. Baldwin to Woods. Woods deflected the net, still alive. Haley Weiser pushes it over, tapped right back by Stephanie Woods, but playable. And pushed down by Zavala. Jasmine Zavala gets the point. Junior transfer from Morton College makes it 3 in a row for the Crimson Wave. They're within 6. They trailed by as many as 10 points in this third game. Kendra Bullard pushes it across. Here's Zavala into the net, out of bounds, deflected by the Fighting Saints. And that's a 4-0 run for Calumet. Not going down without a fight. They trail 2-0, and they were down in this one 14-4. But they're not folding up shop just yet. They want to hang around a little while longer. It's Jade Livesey-Gork to the back line. Didn't quite get it. Just beyond the border. Very close call, but it's a 5-0 run now for Calumet, and for the first time today, Kara Courier is forced to call a timeout as her team reels a little bit. 15-11, still a good lead for St. Francis and still a 2-0 lead in the match, so they're in good shape here. Just 10 points away from wrapping up a victory, but Calumet is fighting hard and keeping themselves in this by scoring 5 consecutive points. They're on a good run with Caitlin Allwine doing the serving. St. Francis cruised to easy victories in the first 2 sets of 25-13 and 25-14. if they are to finish off this straight set victory against Calumet College of St. Joseph, it's likely that this third game will have to be played a little bit tighter. Certainly where we're at right now, it's been tight thanks to this good run from Calumet, following what had been a very good run for St. Francis. They at one point scored 8 consecutive points. Actually, at one point they had 9 straight points. But 6 in a row from Calumet, trying to angle it into 7 in a row right here. Stephanie Woods taps it over, returned by Sincere Northern. And what do we have? A double hit against St. Francis. And a 7-0 run for the Crimson Wave. Allwine doing some good work as a server. Sends it to the back line, and Gabrielle Palermo. Kendra Bullard tipped at the net and dropped down. Kendra Bullard picks up the point as Northern and Weiser were unable to get all of that ball. They deflected it just enough that the back line was unable to make a play on. Just a slight impediment of the ball's momentum was enough to give St. Francis their 16th point of the game. Back up by 4, snapping finally that 7-0 run for the Crimson Wave. And Calumet's able to get one right back on the board as the Saints are unable to return it. So it's now an 8-1 run for Calumet. They are back within 3. Haley Weiser gets the serve. Off to McKenna Bartecki. Baldwin sets up Livsay Grork, and a powerful kill. Beautiful setup and a strong finish. Saints have scored 17 of the first 30 in this third game. Alexis Engst is back in to serve. Weiser passes it off to Northern, and Northern mishits it. Out of bounds the entire way there. Just didn't get that ball the way that she wanted to. St. Francis's lead is now 5. Engst sends away another one. Into the net, but played by Weiser, kept it alive, and Northern got it over. Here's Corey Beard. Good play by Sullivan. Weiser back to Sullivan, into the net. Attacking error on Alex Sullivan as St. Francis 1 point closer to a victory. 19-13. Engst on the serve. Right along the line, it's Sullivan saving it. And Northern pushes it over and down. Sincere Northern's strong third set continues. Calumet has matched their point total from the second set with 14. They've already surpassed their total from the first set. So they're getting incrementally better with each passing set, but have not yet been able to overtake St. Francis other than the first couple of points of each set. Bullard taps it across, but it's played by Calumet. Weiser high up into the air, returned by Brooklyn Withy, and down for a St. Francis point. (20-14) our score. Gabrielle Palermo will go back, get a serve, and try to go on a run. And maybe not give up the serve the rest of the way. Looks like an injured player for Calumet. Kelly Greer comes out to see if Ariane Payman is okay, and training staff for St. Francis comes out to have a look at her as well. 20-14 our score. St. Francis has a third set advantage right now, and they have already won each of the first 2 sets by counts of 25-13 and 25-14. They've been in control of this one ever since they went on a 9-0 run to break what had been a 3-3 tie. They took a commanding 12-3 advantage, and even though Calumet has been able to fight back since then, they have been able to keep it close, but have not yet been able to overtake St. Francis. Payman is not only okay, she's going to stay in the game. So good news for everybody involved right there as we are ready to continue. Palermo gets it over. Sincere Northern deflected at the net and pushed across by Joanna Nowicki. There's Sullivan to the back line. Palermo plays it, may have gone out just to be safe. Nowicki pushes it over and down for the point as Northern unable to come up with the block. 21-14, the Saints by 7. Now Payman does check out of the game. Alyssa Morales is back in. Serve from Paelmo. Sullivan looking for the kill. Tipped at the net. Withy forces it with two hands to the back line. Brewster keeps it alive. Keeping it alive. There's McKenna Bartecki with a nice play defensively. Nowicki gets it over. Up into the air and down for a St. Francis point. Joanna Nowicki gets that one over. 22-14, St. Francis. Just 3 points away from wrapping it up. Well, Gabrielle Paelmo has had some really nice runs as a server today. Coming up with another one right here. Sullivan, though, comes up with the point for Calumet. Alex Sullivan keeps the Crimson Waves' hopes alive in this one. Back to within 7. Sincere Northern gets the serve. And she gets it down. A nice little ace for Sincere Northern. Probably not the way she drew it up. A low line drive off her hand. Looked like that was going to go straight into the net. It did, but it got the top of the net and was able to roll over it. Nobody there to make the play for St. Francis. This time Northern gets it a little bit higher. Better form, worse result as the Saints get it back across and down for the point. And now they're just 2 away. 23-16. Stephanie Woods back in on the front line. Maggie Klebanow into serve. Too strong, out of bounds. Calumet's not going away. They're still alive in this game, trailing 23-17. They went on a 7-0 run earlier in the game. They're one good run away right here from really making it a contest. Nowicki pushes it over, deflected right back. Nowicki again, played by Allwine. Sullivan to the back line, Paelmo. Inks sets up Stephanie Woods. Woods tries to push it down, but it's played by Brewster. Kept alive by Allwine and tapped over by Weiser. Paelmo dives and pushes it back across, but Calumet is there to respond. Sullivan blocked at the net. Morales to Weiser to Sullivan again, and this time Alex Sullivan finds a soft spot on the defense and picks up a point for Calumet. That's 2 in a row for the Crimson Wave, and they are within 5. Good back and forth there, and Sullivan was able to finish it off. Morales has the serve. Stephanie Woods has the point. 24-18, now match point for the Fighting Saints of St. Francis. And Darian Baldwin comes on to serve to try to finish it off. 25-13, 25-14. Those were the scores of the first 2 sets tonight. St. Francis trying to put a bow on this one at 25-18. Morales to Weiser. Calumet gets it over, and the Saints a little bit out of sorts defensively there. So Calumet does get the point, keep the game alive. They'll need at least 5 more points consecutively, though, to continue this match. Here's Sullivan on the serve. Out of bounds. The Fighting Saints get the win. And not necessarily the way you draw it up there, as Alex Sullivan's serve went too far. But St. Francis does win the match on the service error. And St. Francis, in straight sets, knocks off Calumet College of St. Joseph. 25-13, 25-14, 25-19. And a nice job by the Fighting Saints to get that monkey off their back after they had lost 7 consecutive matches, including 2 in a row in conference. They come away with a straight set victory over Cal St. Joe's. And that's got to feel exceedingly good for Kara Courier's crew. Let's take a look at some of the stats from today's match. St. Francis, again, outscored Calumet overall by 29 points for the match. Dominant win in the first set as they went on an early run and pulled away. And then in the second one, Calumet kept it a little bit tighter for a little bit longer, but the Saints did go on a run a little bit later in that one. Eventually were able to cruise to a 25-14 win. This third one was close throughout, as St. Francis went on a big early run, making it 12-3 after scoring 9 consecutive points, but Calumet scored 7 in a row. They were within 3 late. They were within 5 going into the final point of the game, and a service error from Alex Sullivan put an end to it at 25-19. With the win, St. Francis improves to 6-13 overall for the season. They're now 3-2 in CCAC play. Cal St. Joe's falls to 2-10, not able to form their first 2-game winning streak of the season. They're now 0-4 in conference, as they remain one of 2 winless teams in the CCAC this year. St. Ambrose is the other one at 0-4 coming into play tonight. And St. Ambrose did play against Robert Morris. In fact, they're probably still playing against Robert Morris right now. That match started at 7 o'clock. For the Fighting Saints, after a long spell away from home, they go back on the road. Their next 5 in a row are all once again on the road before they come back the weekend of October 5th for the crossover tournament, which this year is being played here at Sullivan Center on the campus of the University of St. Francis. They'll take on St. Ambrose, Robert Morris, St. Xavier, and Judson, all in the span of 2 days. Those 4 matches, in fact, will be played over the course of 24 hours. So it'll be an interesting day of action, 2 days of action here at St. Francis. But in between, they've got 5 more road matches coming up, including against Trinity International this Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock p.m. They will take on Huntington of Indiana later that day. Trinity International is a conference opponent, but it's a tournament. It's not officially a CCAC game on Friday when the Fighting Saints take on the Trinity International Trojans, and then Huntington that same day. They've got 2 more games the next day, Cumberland and Indiana Wesleyan at Indiana Wesleyan. Again, the next home game, October 5th, St. Ambrose and Robert Morris, the 2 opponents on that Friday. Our next broadcast, not until October 9th. They'll take on Governor's State, a 7 o'clock start time here for another conference match. Again, the Fighting Saints with the win now, 6-13 overall. They are 3-2 in conference play as they beat Calumet College of St. Joseph 25-13, 25-14, and 25-19. Thanks for tuning in to today's game. Hope you're with us again next time as the Saints try to get on a roll here mid-season after struggling for the last month or so. They'll try to use this as a springboard to get them on the right path going forward. Until next time, this is Terry Bonadonna signing off for the University of St. Francis. Enjoy your evening.